Hello, I'm Nikki Starr, welcome back to my channel. It is the 30th of June. I apologise in advance if you can hear my fan because it is very warm today. So I've got that kind of directed at my face. It's a Sunday and next week I have the week off. So I'm planning on doing a quite productive morning if I can. And then about 2 o'clock there is a football game that England are playing in. So I'm going to have to watch that. So far this morning I have worked out, I've watched a bit of Criminal Minds, done my makeup, not done a whole lot else. It is about 20 to 9 and my estimates are that I need about 3.5 hours to finish off the rest of Space Pirates 2, which was supposed to happen this week because I was supposed to have done more last week than I did, but got through quite a bit of it this week. If I can get this finished, then I'm hoping I can get number 3 finished by the end of the month in the next 2 weeks. So that is the plan so far. But I think the first thing I need before I can do any actual work is an iced coffee. I've got some cold brew in the fridge that I made that's decaf because I've already had quite a bit of caffeine. I don't want to over caffeine myself today, that's not going to help anything. So we'll go make a coffee and then we will sit down and get to reading. I know this is huge, it is decaf and it makes me happy. So I'm going to try and find some kind of timer to go with. I feel like I'm in that kind of mood today. I feel like I want something on the background with some nice chill music, bit of a timer, and just see how much I can smash through. Turn off Criminal Minds, although I don't really want to. I kind of want to sit here all day and watch it. In terms of where I am, so I can update later, we are currently on page 150 and we have 216. On average, I'm doing about a half a page a minute, a little bit less than that maybe. I think it's somewhere like 0.4 of a page per minute, but so I've got about 60 pages, so about 120 minutes maybe to finish this off. So I might see if I can find some 50-minute sprints and do those, try and get this through a bit quicker if we can. I'm gonna get to reading and I'll catch up with you all in a little bit and see how I did. Just as a quick check-in, I've done about 40 minutes today, but I've done them in 2 kind of stints. Something else came up in the middle of the morning, so it's about 12 o'clock now. I've done my writing, I've done the other thing that came up. We've gone and picked up a load of like snacky foods so that when I'm watching the football later I can have like a proper sort of picky lunch, which is my favourite thing to do when the football's on. We've picked up some alcohol-free drinks as well. I don't really drink alcohol, but sitting and watching the football with like an alcohol-free cider or an alcohol-free wine is just amazing. So we're doing that. I got to about page 167 earlier, so I'm hoping to try and get a little bit more in today. If not now, then later in between the football sessions, because there are 3 football games in a row and I'm kind of tempted to see how many of them I can watch today. The aim might be that I watch the football and in between, so like in half time, or there's a little bit of time between the actual one game ending and the other game kicking off. So in that period of time I might be able to do a bit more, or I might go and do some video editing, all that kind of fun stuff. I'm not quite done with all my goals this week, but I'm not super worried about that because I can always pick up anything from this week. Because I'm off next week, I can do a bit more. And there's a kind of a part of me hoping that next week what I might be able to do is pick up some of my goals for the last week of the month, so that theoretically the last month might be a bit more chill. So we'll see how that goes. I do understand the irony of that I am putting more on the week that I'm off from work so that I can have a calmer week afterwards, but we're not going to question it. While I've had the football on, what I can also do is look at my old Dabble app and my campfire. I probably said about this in the Worldwide Write-a-thon vlog that I did, but I basically have to sit and copy and paste a load of stuff because I have My Dabble app has old character profiles, and my Campfire I'm adding to as I get into the story. But because I don't describe anything, particularly in zero drafts, even though some of these are supposed to be first drafts, but I'm starting to doubt that a little bit. They're just the third iteration of a zero draft at this point because they are nowhere near first draft standard. That aside, I don't describe anything. I do a lot of white wall. I do a lot of we meet the person, but I don't describe the person. Because when I'm drafting, I feel like it's a waste of time. I can't explain what it is. My brain goes, no point doing it, carry on. You'll bore people. Or what I'll end up doing, because I'm trying to hit word count goals, my worry is that I'll just rattle off a load of description stuff and it will be really boring. So I just avoid it. Probably not the better alternative, but it's what I do. So I'm meeting characters and maybe I describe their eye colour at some point in the next 4 chapters. Maybe I don't. Maybe it's the next book that I do it. So what I might sit and do during some of the football or some of the breaks is just copy a load of the information across. So things like eye colour, hair colour. So I'm going to go through and do all of that. I'm also, at some point next week, I want to try and spend like an hour just brainstorming things. Because what I've realised, and this is something that I hear a lot, that in your later drafts you work a lot on the world. The world itself is quite plain at the moment. I'm only coming across things, in my drafting, I come across things as they happen and then I kind of don't elaborate on them and don't go anywhere with them. And it's a very bare bones way of writing the way I do it. So I've got a couple of my characters that are in a situation where I'm basically just describing them walking from one room to another room and back and forth. And I think I need to elaborate a bit more and make that more of a complex of where they are rather than their room, communal room. I think I need to have more environment for them. I'm gonna try and work on that at some point soon as well. I think the thing I'm learning from reading through this is my character is very strong, my world building and description is very weak. My dialogue in places has been really good and in other places it's just been atrocious. So that's gonna be a fun one to fix. And these first 2 books, I forgot how much I wrote of this series with like an omnipotent narrator. So I've got like a situation where the narrator is jumping between heads of different paragraphs, which I know can work, and I've read books like that, and I'm reading a book at the moment that's like that, and it can really work, but I don't think it's what I want to do. I think what I want a third person narrator, but for every scene we kind of stay in one person's head. So it's not the same as like a first person where we're really jumping from point of view, but I want to be able to have scenes and say, right, this scene is from this person's head and this scene is from this person's head. And while I'm not sticking entirely to my main character, or I do kind of jump around a bit more than just my main character or the main crew, but I think it helps with what I'm doing because of how long the series is, and I feel like it adds more to it than just following this one character really closely. I feel like it needs to be a bit wider, so that's what I'm doing. So I need to have a think about all of that. It does mean there's going to be some scenes I'm going to have to rewrite, but I think for world building wise, there's going to be quite a few scenes I think I'm just going to have to rewrite. I'm just going to suck it up and do it. That'll be after Millwordy. After Millwordy, what I kind of want to try and do is establish an actual routine. So what I want to have is set months of the year that I'm doing set things, breaking the year up and based on what I'm drafting or what I'm writing at the time. So I always want to have NaNoWriMo as a zero draft, go for it, just write for the sake of writing, try and get an idea onto paper kind of thing. So I'll need October to plan for that. And then what I'm trying to work out is, of the other 10 months, do I want to always have a project going? Do I want to give myself some months off from writing so I can focus on some of my other creative things? How do I want to play it, essentially? And we are getting very close to the end of Millwordy now, so I am going to have to think about what my routine will be like next year. Is that thought just a little bit terrifying? Yes, and I don't know why. Something about the Millwordy, having had a set plan with set books for the last year, even the months when I've not managed the goal and I've had to push it, or halfway through when we slightly shifted what I was doing, because I was originally going to work my way through book 1, 2 and 3 and then go back to book 1 and deal with the other books later, and I decided to draft all through all of them. Coffee update though, still got lots of coffee left. I have about an hour and a half until the football kicks off. I kind of want to watch a bit of the build up, which is unusual for me, so really I've got about an hour that I can do. I might try and sit down and do a bit more reading through, but I'll update you all a bit later about how I get on with everything. I'm going to sign off, finish my coffee, do a bit more writing, Probably deal with the fly that is currently banging itself against my window, even though my window is well open and absolutely should be able to escape. Again, I will apologise in advance for any noise you hear in the background. The window is wide open because it is warm again. So it is Monday the 14th of June. As I said, I'm off this week, so I thought I'd finish this little vlog bit off because I have finished reading through book 2. I'm going to say something that I was not expecting to say. I think this is better than book 1. I was not expecting to do book 2 and to actually be like, there's more in this. There's threads to things that I picked up on while I was drafting and pulled together, but there's also like loose-ended threads that I could do a lot of work with and I could really pull it in. It needs a lot of work, it really does. But I've done it. So we're about halfway through the month, and so far this month, with reading through that, making notes on it, making the outline of what is actually happening in that book, I've got 87,000 words this month. Which is the goal to hit every month, and I haven't been doing that, so I was just over. Is it over? I think it's just over the goal. Might be just under the goal. Is it 88 you're supposed to hit? Editing Nikki, do you know how many words I'm supposed to have hit? Because I don't. Theoretically, if I can do the next book by the end of this month as well, because the next book is a similar length to that one, I might be able to make up another extra month's worth of time. I am off this week, so I could spend a few more hours this week than I would normally do to try and get through book 3 a bit quicker, which would be interesting. And I was really struggling earlier when I was trying to think about what was in book 3, and now I've got to the end of book 2, it's become very, very clear to me what book 3 is. This one, I think, could be a really, really interesting one. I think it's one of my stronger. I didn't realise book 2 was quite as strong as it was. So when I was reading through book 1, I was thinking about whether or not there needs to be some merging. I was thinking, right, if this was the first third of a book, could I like cut bits and pieces and make it fit in? But then reading through book 2, I'm like, I want that to be on its own. And it's partly because during each of my books I do flashbacks for different members of the crew, and the number of flashback storylines I have make more sense with like an 8 or a 9 book series. But also this has got a lot of different things happening in it, all around one central event, but it works on its own, whereas book 1 maybe isn't quite as strong as that. So rather than trying to merge in 3 books, I think I need to work on book 1 and really get that work done, and then see how book 3 comes out. There's a part of me that really, really wants to make this a long series. There's a lot of time that I can play with if I make it a longer series. There's a lot more like external things that I can bring in. Like, without giving too much away and like spoilers, there's a group of people we meet in this book who, with a couple of tweaks to the storyline, end up in a more powerful place at the end and could be much better allies as they move their way through the whole story. And I think I could build on that more and have more of those kind of moments, so that when we get to the end of the series, it feels really satisfying. There's all these threads that have come out and actually get fixed. Whereas I feel like if I have merge this all into a book, I might have to cut parts of that group out or find ways to make it merge with the other plot lines that are happening, and I just feel like it will take away from it. I don't think I realised how much I was actually considering merging and making this whole series smaller until I got to the end of that book just now and thinking that can't merge with anything else. But in general, very happy with the majority of that book. A lot of it is going to need like scene by scene rewriting. I've still got a lot of head hopping going on, but I am happy with how the plot of that works out, and with like I said, with a few tweaks I can really make that one good. That's heartening. If that one had turned out to be shit at this point, I probably wouldn't be jumping straight into book 3, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this vlog here and I'll pick up a new one when I start doing book 3. As always, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below if anyone is still doing more wordy, how yours is going this month. Have you had any months where you've actually hit the goal? Because I feel like this is only like my 2nd month where I've been able to hit the Milwordy goal, which is strange. Let me know how all of your writing is going for you. Thank you for watching all the way to the end of this, and I will see you in the next one. And I think I said about this in probably the world